Hey guys, it's Saga from TecworkZ. The comments for my OnePlus Nord's camera review are filled with requests to compare its stock camera with Gcam. So that's what this video is all about. For some reason, people have been saying that the cameras on the OnePlus Nord are not up to the mark and they want to know if Gcam can save it. I don't know why people are saying that to begin with, because if you saw my camera review of the OnePlus Nord, you know that its camera can take very good images for the price at which it comes in. Now if you haven't watched my OnePlus Nord's camera review yet, I suggest you guys watch that video first and then continue watching this one, since that will give you an idea of how good the images from the stock camera on this phone are. But if you still think that the cameras on the OnePlus Nord are not on point, let us see if installing Google Camera makes it any better. So this is Gcam for the OnePlus Nord, and let us start by comparing the daytime shots from the stock camera with the Google Camera. For most of the daytime shots, you won't see any major difference in terms of details. Both are capturing a lot of details thanks to a very capable sensor on the main camera. The small difference that you might notice is in the white balance. Stock camera leans towards capturing cooler color tones, while the Gcam gives you a bit warmer tones in its images. Stock camera on the OnePlus Nord also tends to overexpose the images, which sometimes results in a bit more noise in the shadows, while the Google Camera app doesn't have any such issues and it managed to capture more pleasing looking images overall. For the colors, I think Nord captures a bit saturated and vibrant colors by itself, but the ones from the Gcam look more natural and not as saturated. Since the colors are less saturated from the Gcam, we can see a lot more details in the pink flower as we zoom in. I also feel greens look more natural from the Google Camera app, but color is a personal choice, so which one of these you like will depend on your preference. Some of the images from the stock camera app also show a lot of contrast, which takes away some of the details from the shadows, as you can see in this part of the image. Google Camera actually does very well and captures a lot of details in those parts as well. Now the Nord also gets a wide lens, but right now this Gcam mod doesn't let us switch between lenses. If we try to switch, it just crashes the app. So if you want to take wide or even macro shots, you will have to do it with the stock camera app itself. Maybe in the next few days or weeks, we will see a more stable version which will let us use these cameras as well. As and when that happens, I will leave a link to that camera mod in the description as well. However, you can take 2x digitally zoomed images with the Google Camera app. As you can see, digitally zoomed images from the Gcam are showing sharper images with much more details compared to the ones from the stock camera app. Coming to the dynamic range. This is an area where I did not think the OnePlus Nord needed any help, but the HDR shots from the Google Camera app are so much better. If you have the HDR Plus enhanced option on the Google Camera app, Google's HDR processing makes the images look even better. It manages to preserve so much more details in the highlights, and at the same time, it brings up the shadows in a very natural way. Every now and then, the stock camera app will take better HDR shots than the Gcam, but for most of my HDR shots, I would still go with the Gcam. Coming to close-up shots. While the ones from Gcam look good, the subject closest to the camera or the one that you tap on is sharper in the image from the stock camera app. The stock camera is also faster at setting the focus than the Gcam. Colors are again better in the images from the Gcam. It also gets focus tracking option, but even after that, all the close-up shots are sharper from the stock camera app. Now for the portrait shots, the stock camera app is very good at detecting the edges and separating the subject from its background. And the overall portrait shots from this phone look very good when the lighting conditions are balanced. But when there are shadows on your subject, the portrait shots turned out to be very processed and weird looking. Portraits from the Gcam do much better in these situations. It manages to detect the edges just as well as the stock camera app, but it does not mess up the shadows on the face. Even if the overall portraits are a bit darker from the Gcam, I prefer them over the ones on the stock camera app because it also captures a lot of details in the main subject. This version of Gcam is not able to capture portraits of objects for some reason. So if you like taking portraits of things and objects, you will have to use the stock camera app for those shots. Now coming to lower and artificial lighting conditions. Normally, this is where we see a big difference between the stock and the Google Camera app. In the evening light, we can barely see any difference between these images in some of these shots. But as the light starts to go down, we see the images from the Gcam showing more details in the shadows. Now this image is brighter from the stock camera, but look at the shadows. One from the Gcam is showing so much more information and details there. In some of the late evening shots, both of them make the images look as if they were captured on different days or at different times in the day. And both of them are not showing the actual colors of the scene. But look at the image from the Gcam. It is showing so much more details in the shadows, and due to this reason, I'm sure most of the people are going to like its images better. Now as we get to even lower light, images without the night mode are pretty much useless from both. And with the night mode turned on, Gcam is doing a better job. It also keeps the noise level to a minimum, handles the exposure better, captures more natural looking colors and better overall white balance. But in certain cases, the stock camera ends up pulling out better image than the Gcam even with the night mode turned on. 8 out of 10 times, you will prefer the image from the Gcam with the night mode turned on, as its images have an overall richer feel to them. Coming to the front-facing camera. As I've said in the dedicated camera review, selfies don't seem to have as many details as a 32 megapixel picture should. Well, that is because the stock camera tends to overexpose these images and they end up capturing very little contrast. Selfies from the Gcam brings back that contrast and doesn't overexpose the image, making them look much detailed and sharper. Skin tones are also more natural in the selfies from the Gcam. Portrait selfies also look better from the Gcam. Stock camera app shows a bit better edge detection, especially around my glasses, but thanks to the detail levels and the colors, I would much rather take my selfies with the Gcam app than the stock camera app. It is a well-known fact that the Gcam is better at taking selfies on any smartphone. So if you have it installed on your smartphone, make sure to use it for your selfies. For the videos, as of now, it is best to stick with the stock camera app on the OnePlus Nord. The Gcam videos are not stabilized, and if you turn on the video stabilization or the optical image stabilization option in the settings, the Gcam app just won't capture the video. I have left a link to some of the working Gcam mods in the description section and also for the one that I have used in this video. Try a few of them and see which one works best for you. So although the cameras on the OnePlus Nord are doing a very good job by themselves, you can definitely improve its performance by installing Google Camera mod on it. In most of the cases, your images will benefit from the Google Camera app. In some cases, when you need to use other features like the wide lens at the back or front, the macro camera, or for taking videos, you should still stick to the stock camera app. If you were paying attention, in the Nord's detailed camera review, I said that I think it performs better than the OnePlus 70, but not as good as the OnePlus 8. But with the Google Camera installed, you can make the Nord's camera performance reach almost at the level of the OnePlus 8. I will definitely make sure to include the Gcam samples when I compare the cameras on the OnePlus Nord with the ones on the OnePlus 8. I have a lot more videos about the OnePlus Nord coming up on the channel, so make sure you have the notifications turned on. And if you want to purchase this phone, I will really appreciate if you get it from the affiliate links in the description section. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.